Hi everyone, welcome to Making Lemonade. I'm your host, Noah Rodriguez-Hoffman. In 2015, Omar Kasim turned a business plan that he wrote as part of his senior thesis in college into his first profitable business called Con Quesos. But by 2017, it would all be ripped away. Undeterred, Omar pushed forward, and when he got the chance to take his business back, he doubled down and managed to turn the then failing restaurant into the thriving Arkansas staple that it is today. See how this young entrepreneur is making a name for himself in the restaurant industry and the importance of betting on yourself. Hi Omar, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? Living the dream.
Love to hear it. Why don't you start by telling us how Con Quesos went from just a business plan that you wrote as part of your senior thesis to a full-fledged thriving business?
It started off as just an idea and something that I eventually knew that I wanted to do one day. But it wasn't until I met with an advisor that he really posed the question of what's stopping you from doing this. I didn't have any money or any experience in the restaurant world. I had to, first research everything about how to open a restaurant. And I began going through the capital raising process and pull together money to make the dream happen.
But entrepreneurship wasn't always in your plans, right? In fact, you had your sights set on law school. What made you decide to launch your restaurant business instead?
I knew that if this didn't work out, that was always going to be an option. Whereas maybe the opportunity to start a business would not always be there. That uncertainty tends to scare people, but that really excited me because it could have gone so many different ways.
But just 1 year after opening Con Quesos, you suffered a major setback. What happened in 2017?
After a difference of opinion between my investor and I, he came into the restaurant unannounced and informed me that he was performing a hostile takeover of the company. And so I went from, opening the restaurant that morning to signing over the bank accounts later that day. I realized that no matter how hard I cried or yelled or screamed or shouted at that moment, it wasn't going to affect the outcome of what was happening. I decided to just, objectively, walk away from this opportunity and focus on what I could control, which was the next thing. Deep down, I just didn't want this to be the last great thing that people remembered me for. This was just a chapter, not the end of a story.
That must have been such a difficult time. How did you end up getting your business back?
So after a year, the company had actually taken a pretty big nosedive after I had left. And I met with my former partner, and after negotiating and discussing, we realized that it would be better in my hands. And so I managed to acquire the assets and all the shares of my former partner, and Con Quesos is back in my lap.
And how are you able to turn the business back around and make it profitable again?
I can honestly say that turning a failing company around was definitely the most difficult thing that I've done to date. At least whenever you're starting a business, like you're starting to accumulate debt, whereas whenever you have a failing business, like you're already in debt. I was sitting in the restaurant one day, just figuring out how I was going to make payroll, and in comes the Millers, telling me that they wanted us to cater a wedding. I remember just sitting there across the table, smiling and saying, yeah, like, of course we can do this. Like, we'd love to be a part of your day. Just knowing deep in my, in my heart that if I don't close this deal, we probably won't be able to afford to stay open for another couple of weeks. And they're like, would you like a credit card or would you like a check? And I was like, a check would be really nice. And it was just incredible because later on, someone had done an article on the comeback story of Con Quesos, and I finally shared it with the couple, and they had no idea there was something, bigger going on with their wedding day. So that made it extra special for them.
What a great story. And so reflecting back now on everything that you've been through with Con Quesos, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I don't know if I would do anything differently. I'm a big believer in the phrase, sometimes not getting what you want can be a wonderful stroke of luck. All of these different opportunities and trials and tribulations have led to what I have today, which is something that I'm very proud of and a story worth sharing.
What's next for Con Quesos? Do you have any plans to expand?
Yeah, most definitely. We're actually in the process of opening another location in downtown Springdale here in Northwest Arkansas. And so that's set to open in August. We're also working with the university on opening a food truck on campus that would be a student learning business where students would actually run and manage it as part of a class.
I love that. What a great way to give back to the community that supported you. Omar, thank you so much for sharing your incredible comeback story with us. Wish you all the best on your expansion and future endeavors.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's our show for today. If you enjoyed this episode of Making Lemonade, be sure to check out some of our other series about money and entrepreneurship exclusively on our channel, millionstories.com. I'm your host, Noah Rodriguez Hoffman. A million thanks for watching.